Hey everybody, Joe Vanourney, Cherry the Geek TV. We are here at the 52nd Annual Saturn Awards with one of my favorites, Nancy Allen. So good to see you. This is an award show that celebrates science fiction and fantasy and horror. You began your career many years ago, and probably your breaking role was in 1976's Carrie.
Yes.
With Brian De Palma. Talk about that experience and working with that cast of pretty much unknowns at the time that all went on to have these incredible careers, and of course Brian Palma was the beginning of right at the start of his career, heading on an upward trajectory. Talk about the experience of Carrie.
I love that experience. We were all starting out. Certainly Piper Laurie was not. She had been in The Hustler and nominated for that. And Sissy had done a couple of things before, but there was such a sense of community and camaraderie and excitement because we all loved our characters, and the cast was so supportive. We would even go to the set when we weren't shooting our own scenes just to support one another. So we kind of felt like it was a really good movie, but when we were making it, and so I don't think anyone was disappointed when it was done.
And that began a relationship with Brian De Palma. Not only did you marry him, and were married to him for a while, but you starred in Dressed to Kill, starred in The Great Blowout, reuniting with John Travolta from Carrie. Talk about that relationship, working with Brian De Palma on all these fantastic films.
Well, I think it was great that we met each other and worked together before we actually started dating, because by the time we did other things together, it was very easy to just be the actress working with the director. When we were on set, people would think that we talk about it all the time, but it was a really collaborative and almost... Sometimes he'd just look at me and I'd know exactly what he was thinking, and I think the same. So I trusted him, but I already knew I could trust him because he'd made a terrific movie with Carrie. So we had a great time, and he did develop, when he developed Dressed to Kill, he wrote that role for me, which I didn't know when he was writing it, and so that was a nice gift. And then reuniting with John, the three of us together on Blowout, and then you add in John Lithgow and Dennis Franz. It was just perfection.
They're all fantastic.
The highlight of my career, really.
They're all fantastic movies, and that leads a few years later to one of my favorite films of all time, RoboCop,
yes.
Where you play Officer Lewis. Talk about that experience. They had RoboCop sequels, which you were also involved with, but that first RoboCop, Paul Verhoeven directing, the humor and the satire that was in it was kind of tried to be copied in those later films and the TV series, and that doesn't quite get it. What made that first RoboCop so special? Well,
first of all, the script. I remember reading it, and of course I looked at it and I went, RoboCop. Definitely they're changing that title. But I thought, well, I'll read a few pages, and I couldn't put it down because I'd never read anything like it. The story, the tone, the characters, the fact that it pulled you in and it had that little bit of cynical, political undertone to it, and of course the story of Murphy, and it's kind of a different kind of a love story, not an in love, but a love of and a between the two characters. I love it. It was really, to shoot that movie every day was paradise for me because of Verhoeven. He was brilliant. He brought the energy, all of that energy of the film is Paul, and it never came even close on the other two, for me.
So we're at the Saturn Awards celebrating science fiction, fantasy, and horror. What current things on television or in the movies, the sci-fi, fantasy, horror world is Nancy Allen a fan of?
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Well, actually, just last night I watched Strange Darling because my buddy Ed Begley is in it, and that's a pretty great, terrifying film. And do you need to go?
No.
Oh, sorry. What else have I seen? I can't even think. My head's exploding. I know I've seen something recently that I really like. A lot of things I've seen that I like. But I love the current films, and I think this year has been a really exciting year for film. But how can I not love all of these genres, I mean, this is where I started. And my buddy Bob Gale is getting a special award for Back to the Future, so I'm very excited about that too.
Well, it's so awesome to see you and speak to you. This is Nancy Allen. Stay tuned to Cherry the Geek TV for more coverage here at the 52nd Annual Saturn Awards.